are opening up.
Like what?
Well, restaurants and stuff are opening up at like 25%, like 50%. Washington State is now going to be opening up restaurants to 50% capacity. Washington State restaurants will need to track diners' info as part of reopening requirements.
Wait. What?
The plan includes logging time of arrival, emails, phone numbers to meet and facilitate contact tracing.
Is this serious?
Yep. On Monday night, Governor Jay Inslee released a list of detailed guidelines that restaurants must adopt before resuming dine-in service during Phase 2 of Washington's reopening plan during the COVID-19 pandemic. As announced previously, dining rooms can reopen at 50% capacity in this phase, which with no more than 5 people at the table. But now there are several other strict requirements, including eliminating bar seating, distributing single-use menus, and logging diners' personal info to facilitate contact tracing, a rigorous method of tracking and monitoring those who may have been exposed to the coronavirus. The last requirement is one that perhaps may generate the most discussion. According to the state's Phase 2 playbook, restaurants that offer table service must plan to keep a daily log of phone numbers, emails, and arrival times for everybody who comes in to eat. Diners are already used to giving restaurants such details to make a reservation, but Washington's rules state that all customers must be logged, not just one per party. This is also unclear how exactly the information will be handled, distributed, or purged when not needed anymore. But on Tuesday, the governor held a press conference detailing the state's robust contact tracing plan, which he said would be key to migrating the spread of coronavirus.
Contact tracing program. Like, this is, you know what I love about this whole Corona thing? They fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. It's becoming more evident every day that they fucked up from the beginning. And now, even now, they're only kind of restrictingly giving back anything. Like, okay, you can have this, but you're going to write your names down and we're going to track it. And it's like, no. This should be a full reversal of every policy they've instituted, an apology, if anything, right? Like, you're in the wrong here, but now you're even, I'm so mad right now. It's like you grounded your kid for something they didn't even do, and you found out that they didn't do it, and now you're going, okay, you get an hour of Xbox a day, and it's like, no. I get my Xbox back now. Like, I didn't do anything. This is so outrageous.
It addressed concerns. It addressed some concerns over privacy. He said that Washington would have the legal authority to prevent any data collected from restaurants from being used for the purpose other than contact tracing, such as advertisements.
Oh,
I'm
good.
sorry. You think that people are worried about this because they might get directed advertising? No.
I don't need a bunch of emails from Longhorn Steakhouse, bro.
People are worried about this because
invasive.
they're going to be put on a statewide registry for going to a fucking Applebee's. And this is the thing. How does this contact tracing thing work? Because what about HIPAA laws, right? Like, you can't release people's medical information unless somebody voluntarily tells you they have coronavirus. You can't use that to track it to what restaurants they've been to, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It won't take long before these guidelines translate to action. 8 rural counties in Washington have already been approved to enter Phase 2 faster than other parts of the state. And so once restaurants in those counties can provide documentation to the state on the compliance of these measures, they should be good to go. Other areas, including Seattle, are likely to still a few weeks away provide coronavirus cases, transmission, and hospitalizations. So it says whenever restaurants do reopen for dine-in services, those who have been following the protocol surrounding COVID-19 may not be completely surprised by the new rules. And Washington isn't the first to institute logging requirements for restaurants. Maine, another winner, has its own self-reopening guidelines that ask restaurants to maintain customer records for contact tracing. And cities such as Austin and New Orleans have announced similar plans. Still, restaurants that don't have computerized systems may be left scrambling to figure things out in an ad hoc manner. And it's notable that counter service restaurants with no table service would appear to be exempt to the daily logging rule according to the regulations. So it doesn't matter. Basically, once there's already one huge hole in this, then it doesn't matter. All this doesn't.
This isn't passed yet, right? This is something they're proposing.
No, this governor said phase 2. This is happening. This Mike. Past would imply that this is going through legal processes where people get to decide if this is a good idea.
It's a childish question, and you're right. And I should be mocked for it, quite frankly.
All this doesn't even factor into challenges of adhering to the other safety requirements listed by the state. While some seem to be relatively standard now, such as providing hand sanitizers near every entry, which I don't care about that, others may take a little more planning. Restaurants will need to space tables 6 feet away from each other, physical barriers, which might be tricky for smaller restaurants. Employers must also provide mask coverings for the staff with personal protection equipment in short supply. It's unclear how those costs or logistics of that will be. Meanwhile, the state recommends that customers wear cloth. Okay, whatever. We all know all that. So basically, this is how this works. Every restaurant now, whether they be a huge franchise or whether they are a small mom and pop place, when you walk in, they have to ask for the information of every single person in your party. Name, phone number, email. I'm assuming addresses. I don't know. But in Washington, you don't need to give any of your information except your name to vote. You don't. You do need to give all of your personal information to have a blooming onion.
Yes.
Wow. This seems really good. And I also love how their only assurance is like, don't worry, the government's going to hold on to it.
Just lie.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. But then my concern is...
Was it a crime to lie to a hostess?
No. I agree with you. I agree with you. But what if they make you give an ID? Like, so I'm sure they're going to know that people are going to lie, right? I'm sure they know people are going to lie.
Yeah.
So the only way to stop that would be to ask them for an ID, right?
I've been passing off fake IDs at a Logan Steakhouse my whole life.
Your whole life? Okay.
So this is the moment I was fucking born for, man.
Okay, and I'm going to read this because,
be like, wow, there's a lot of guys named Rusty Shackelford eating lately at Logan's Steakhouse.
It's Tim in the chat who says, it's so they can trace people who someone that is infected may have come in contact with. Not everything is some sinister scheme. Hi, have you seen the government? Everything is always a sinister scheme.
It's always a sinister scheme.
Do you want to talk about what happened to Flynn?
It always gets abused.
Do you want to talk about what happened to Flynn? Do you want to talk about what happens all the time? Okay, look. Hot libertarian take coming in.
Sure.
But the government shouldn't be involved telling restaurants what they need to do to serve things. Now, we're not talking about food safety because that falls on, okay, we have to make sure the restaurant's clean. You're going to have a health inspector. You're now telling the customers that they have to give their information. What if you don't feel like it? Like, you're not allowed to eat out without giving your information. Yes, everything's a sinister scheme. When the government's involved, everything's a sinister scheme. And I'll say this, even things that don't start as a sinister scheme always become a sinister scheme. Perfect example. Let's talk about New York. Let's talk about Chicago. Let's talk about health inspectors. It wasn't a sinister scheme for them to go, we probably should have some sort of standard so food is safe and we're making sure people aren't cross-contaminating and there's no bugs or rats. Cool. And then guess what happens? All of these motherfuckers get paid off. You pay under the table. And I know people personally, I'm sure you do too, that just pay the health inspector off and everything either starts as or becomes a sinister scheme. They're doing it for your safety, folks. They're the same way that they want to track phones in New York. It's okay because it's for your safety. Listen, the NSA only wants to listen into all of your phone calls if they want to and look at all your text messages for you to be safe. Well, fuck safety. You don't get to have my personal information. I don't think you should have anybody's personal information. I think you should be able to go eat at a restaurant without having to give your kid's social security number.
I think honestly, most of the problems in this country are rooted in the fact that some of you idiots really think that the government cares about your safety. Like so many laws wouldn't get passed if you guys would just admit that the government they don't give a fuck about you.
No, of course
But some of you guys legitimately, I don't know why, I don't know what childlike impulses you have that lead you to believe that the government cares about you. I like a government that's like, yeah, go walk into a pharmacy, buy whatever you want. I really don't care if you overdose. Like, smoke cigarettes, I don't give a fuck. Just pay a little tax on it. Get the fuck out of my face. I don't care. But the government started taking a lot of shit from you over the years under the guise of safety. They just take it away and they go, it's safe. And it turns out, no, they want to have a monopoly on a lot of things. And the way they do it is by going, this is for your safety. Just, you have to understand, they don't give a fuck about your safety. That's why I always like Florida. Florida was always great because it was like, yeah, you can smoke in bars. You can fucking drink and drive down here. We don't really care. If we catch you, we're going to throw you in jail. And, if you hurt somebody. But, like, they don't care. They never pretended to care. That's why there's not a lot of taxes down here. There's not a lot of anything. Like, just come down and spend your money. We don't care about you, though. I don't care if you die on a boat of a cocaine overdose. It's not our problem. We don't care. But there's a lot of places that are like, we care about you. This is for your safety, which is why you need to put this malware on your phone. And you're like, no, I don't want to. Like, some of you guys really think they care. They don't care about you. They would fucking inject poison into you right now if they could test the poison. If they could do it and get away with it, they would inject poison right into your dick vein right now if they could get away with it.